welcome back to the second hour. Coming live across the internets. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, dialing it in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, the Sex Health webinar to end all webinars. Check it out. Buy a subscription right now. If you already have a subscription, put it on your calendar. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody in your life about this webinar. Last week, on last Thursday's webinar, we had 198 people from all over the world. It was a ton of fun, just a ton of fun. So check it out tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time. Sex health, everything you always wanted to know about sex health but couldn't get a straight answer to. You know the number, folks, 866-582-9933. By the way, if you're listening to the podcast and would like a number to talk to somebody, the podcast, of course, airs for 24 hours in a recorded fashion after the live program is over. So if you're listening to the recorded podcast and you'd like help, that number to call is 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. We're going right back to the phones now. Rob is up with a question about diabetes. Hey, Rob, thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Glidden. No, I'm a large person like the woman in the last call, and I suffer from type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
I've been taking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the EFAs, the Sweeties, and the OsteoFX.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to get the complications. Can you tell me what else I should be doing?
What do you mean complications? I don't understand.
Well, the neuropathy in the feet and
of type 2 diabetes. Yeah.
And the kidney disease and high blood pressure and.
Yeah. Okay. So understand, right? You've been told a half truth for your whole life, that if you are overweight, then you're more likely to get type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure and peripheral neuropathy, and then your toes are going to fall off, your feet are going to fall off, your fingers are going to fall off, and so forth, right? And, greater incidence of heart disease and high blood pressure. And this is half correct. These things have nothing to do with being overweight. These things have everything to do with not having enough essential nutrients in your body. Now, the half-truth is that obesity also, or even being overweight 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 15 pounds, or 150 pounds, if you're overweight, that's also caused by a nutrient deficiency. So it's not, just because your body is 100 pounds overweight that all of a sudden somehow magically makes you more of a candidate for peripheral neuropathy or anything else. It doesn't happen that way. But that's what you've been convinced of by the MDs, and you and everybody else in the world has bought it hook, line, and sinker, because we just trust that the MD knows what's best for us. For goodness sake, we just test that the MD knows what's what. And they don't. MDs are amongst the most intellectually cowardly people I have ever met. They're not inclined to question what they've learned. They're not inclined to dig a little deeper like an investigative journalist and really get to the bottom of the research. Most MDs don't even read the research through and through. They just read the abstract at the beginning. And, they just believe what their instructor in school told them, what their supervisor in the hospital told them, what all their friends do, and it's just one big happy family. And, they don't question anything. And this is how ridiculous myths like this, and quite frankly, I can tell that you're scared, man. I can hear it in your voice. And you don't need to be. Because, illness is not caused, type 2 diabetes is not caused by spirit possession, right? It's not a voodoo curse. That's inaccurate thinking. It's also inaccurate thinking to think that just because you're overweight, you're going to get all this other stuff just because you're overweight. Now, you may get this other stuff. You may not. If you do get this other stuff, the only reason you get this other stuff is because your body has run out of the nutrients it needs. It's that simple. So the good news is that the fix is in for all of this stuff, and it's all the same fix. Because, right, your body is a complex system of interrelated parts. And all of the parts of your body need nutrients to maintain their health and to function the way that God intended them to function. So what do? We stop eating foods that are gumming up the works. We stop eating foods that are pro-inflammatory. We stop eating foods that interfere with your body's ability to absorb nutrients. That's the 10 bad foods. So you have to dial that in, Rob, if you haven't already, man. You have to completely eliminate the 10 bad foods. And to get that list, just go to fireyourmdnow.com and opt in for my free newsletter. It's right there on the front page of the website. It's free. And as soon as you opt in for the newsletter, you're directed to a page on my website where you can download the good food, bad food list. So check it out. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. And then simply start to nutrify your body. And really, the magic to this method is in the dose. Now, if you're at 200 pounds, but you cannot afford the 200-pound dose, then start the 100-pound dose. If you can't afford that, start the 50-pound dose. For goodness sake, start somewhere. But really, if you want to gain traction with this stuff and really start to see results, then you need to be taking it sufficient to the cause. And with a definitive diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, right, the recommendation for you to start with would be 1 healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month and 4 bottles of selenium a month. 4 bottles of selenium a month and 1 healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's a really good place to start, number 1. Number 2, you need to eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet and take the supplements every day. And once you've done that for 4, 5, 6 weeks and you're comfortable not eating the 10 bad foods, and you're comfortable taking your supplements every day, you know, like your life depended on it. Got to take my morning dose, got to take my afternoon dose, got to take my evening dose. Once you've got that dialed in and it's second nature, then look to see what 1,200 calories a day looks like. And it's not easy to figure out what 1,200 calories a day looks like unless you get into the habit of counting calories, because it's easy to sneak in a calorie or 2 or 10 or 30 or 50. It's easy to do that. So get a handle on what 1,200 calories a day looks like and then start to eat 1,200 calories a day. And use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine liquid drink as an appetite suppressant between meals, if when you're doing the 1,200 calories a day, between meals you start jonesing for something to eat, because it's going to take a week or 2 or 3 for your body to get used to 1,200 calories a day, but it's going to be a breeze, man, compared to when you have tried to do that before in your life, because the only reason that you're overweight is your body's been starved. And, you know, if your body is starved and you have willpower, you can force your body to go on a calorie-restricted diet for a couple of months. It's hard. It's a struggle. I mean, you wake up in the middle of the night, you're sweating. You know, it's horrible. It's really difficult, and it's work 24/7. You can do it, though, but then you'll fail, and you'll kick the, you know, you'll stop the discipline. You'll raid the fridge. You just can't handle it anymore. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because there's everything right with you. Your body is starved for nutrients, and it knows it's starved, and it forces you to eat. It's your body that's doing it. It's Mother Nature that's doing it. It's waking you up in the middle of the night. Holy crap, I'm running out of vitamin B. Eat something. And this is why we go from the frying pan to the fire. And so, you know, once you nutrify, though, I tell you what, man, once you nutrify and you eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then you use the supplements to curb the appetite between meals, you're going to start to lose 1.5, 2 pounds a week, 1 to 2 pounds a week. Boom, daddy, boom, daddy, boom, daddy, boom. 6 months from now, you're not even going to recognize yourself. Your blood sugar is going to start to come down. And then, as your body's nutritional tank is filled to the brim, you ain't going to get neuropathy. You're just not going to get it, because those things are not baked into the cake. The only reason chronic illnesses show up is because your body is nutrient deficient. So when you fill that nutritional tank up, you are good to go, and you don't need to worry about any of that nonsense anymore. So dial it in with more diligence, Rob. Dial it in with more diligence. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, up the ante with the nutritional supplements, and, see how it goes. Every couple of weeks, there should be specific and measurable, noticeable change. Thank you so much for the trust. Thank you so much for the call, and keep up the good work up there in Canada. Robert's next from Virginia. We're all over the place. We're international today, folks. Thanks for the call, Robert. You were live.
Yes. Trouble with prostate reading is 25, and cancer in the prostate and in one of my kidneys. It's a little spot on my kidney, and how can we handle that?
All right. Well, how do you know that it's prostate cancer? Did they do a biopsy, or are they just assuming it's prostate? They did a biopsy?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So we can't treat cancer. The only people in the United States that can legally treat cancer are oncologists. How about that? It's illegal to treat cancer if you're not an oncologist. So I'm going to tell you what I would do to support and promote the health of my body if I had a diagnosis of cancer. But this is not to be misconstrued as a cancer treatment, because the only people that can treat that are the people that suck at it. They're the oncologists. We've given them $600 billion. $600 billion. You have any idea how much money that is? It is an unbelievable amount of money to come up with a cure for cancer, and they've given us squat, nada, bump kiss, nothing. We got nothing for $600 billion. You tell me any other industry that we'd put up with that type of incompetence? We wouldn't. But it's par for the course in the upside-down, inside-out, completely back-asswards world of MD-directed medicine. Bada bing, bada boom. If you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you're even sicker and tireder of being broke, going from paycheck to paycheck, going from credit card bill to credit card bill, where does it end? Well, this is where it ends, right here. Go to fireyourmdnow.com, click on the Join Longevity button in the menu bar, and join us. Join us. Become a longevity distributor and get rid of your vitamin M deficiency. Everybody has a vitamin M deficiency. It's nonsense. You don't need to be financially struggling. You don't need to be financially struggling. We have it dialed in here for you, friends. Check it out. fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the Join Longevity button, and we will show you the way to a brighter financial future by helping your friends and family and church members and community members to get out from underneath the jack-booted heel of conventional medicine. Right now we're talking to Robert, who's calling up from Virginia. He's been told he has kidney cancer that's gone to the prostate gland, and he's in a world of hurt and wants to know what we can do. Are you back with me, Robert?
I'm right with you.
All right. How much do you weigh, man?
I weigh 325.
Okay. So first things first, I want you to go to my website, please, fireyourmdnow.com, and on the front page, I want you to join my free, opt-in for my free newsletter. It requests you to put your name and your email address, and you click submit. And when you do that, you're directed to a hidden page on my website where you can download a document called Good Food, Bad Food. I want you to download that document, and it lists 10 bad foods. 10 bad foods on that document, and I want you to immediately, without any whining, without any hesitation, eliminate those 10 foods from your diet as soon as humanly possible. Stop. I don't even want you to look at those 10 foods, all right? And now, the good food list is also there. If there's anything on the good food list, you can eat it. There's only one thing on the good food list that's mandatory. All the rest of the stuff, you can eat it or not eat it depending on your mood. I want you to get into the habit of salting your food every day so that it tastes good with iodized sea salt or iodized table salt. Start salting your food Eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet, and that's a good first step. Now, once you've got the food dialed in, we need to give your body nutritional supplements, because we can't treat cancer, only oncologists can, but we can support and promote the health of your body and support your body's ability to, optimize its health under any circumstance. And the way that I would do that at your body weight is 3 anti-aging healthy start packs a month, 3 anti-aging healthy start packs a month, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. That's 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, and 8 bottles of Z Radical a month. 8 bottles of Z like zebra Radical. Now, if that's outside of the budget, then you do 1 anti-aging healthy start pack a month, 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium a month, and 4 bottles of Z Radical a month. Whatever it is that you can dial in financially, dial it in. I want you to have at least 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 1 bottle of selenium, and 4 bottles of Z Radical a month. And if you can't afford that, just do the Z Radical. Do 4 bottles, 5 bottles, 6 bottles, 7 or 8 bottles of the Z Radical a month. Eliminate those 10 bad foods from your diet and, see what happens. And also, look, man, we're up against it here with cancer, right? Everybody's got cancer. It's crazy. In my book, I wrote a book. It's called The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. It's a takeoff on that Hans Christian Andersen, The Emperor Has No Clothes, right? I have a little chapter in that book on cancer. And there are 10 questions in that chapter that you should ask your oncologist. 10 questions. Every cancer patient should ask these 10 questions to their attending oncologist. And if you ask these 10 questions politely and intelligently and see what the doctor has to say as a reply, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to do conventional medical treatments, because conventional medical treatment for most cancers just doesn't work, and it creates more problems than it fixes. So you might want to pick up a copy of the book, get those 10 questions, and, ask them to your doctor, your MD, your oncologist, heaven forbid. Oh, by the way, you can get the book on Amazon.com for your Kindle. You can download it. It's $9 or $10, $9.99. Check it out. All the information is there, Robert, on fireyourmdnow.com. So check it out. Thanks for the phone call. Thanks for your trust. And for goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, who said that the only people that can treat cancer legally are MDs? Well, guess what? It was the MDs that said that. They've legislated themselves into the driver's seat, and they're killing us in the process. For goodness sake, let's march on Washington. Better yet, let's just fire the MDs and take our health back with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Hey, I say all the time that this is an international radio show, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. We're talking to Dick, who is calling from Manila, the Chilla in Manila in the Republic of the Philippines. How about that? Thanks a lot, Dick. You are live.
Question about phytates in food. I also have another question about gluten intolerance issues.
Okay, good.
I understand that coconut water is a very trendy health drink there in your country. Here, it's just a drink that's everywhere. I could walk out of my door and there's a guy selling it in the road. It's very cheap. It's very available. And I've taken your advice and I've done web searches for phytates, and I know phytates is in the coconut, but I have not been able to determine if phytates is in the coconut water. Can you try to steer me in the right direction there?
Well, if it's in the coconut, then I would expect that it's in the water, but, I don't know how much, and I've never been asked that question before. And also keep in mind that phytates are not a problem the way that gluten is a problem. Because gluten is a problem whether you eat it with or without supplements, whether you eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whether you eat it under the full moon or whatever. Gluten is a problem, and it's always going to be a problem, and it's always been a problem. Phytates, on the other hand, are only a problem when you are swallowing mineral supplements. Because what happens with what phytates do is they bind to the minerals, disallowing the minerals from being able to absorb through the intestinal milieu into the bloodstream, and you just poop them out. So you can have stuff that's got phytates in it as long as you're not swallowing your mineral supplements while you're eating or drinking food that has phytates in it. And I'm assuming, Dick, that if it's in the coconut, it's also in the coconut water. So, regretfully, I wouldn't be washing down your selenium supplement, or I wouldn't be mixing the Beyond Tangy Tangerine or the Sweeties with the coconut water, and I wonder what that would taste like anyway. Hey, how long have you lived in the Philippines, by the way?
Oh, about 6 years.
How do you like it?
Hey, I love it.
Yeah, what do you do down there, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm retired.
Oh, God, you got to love it. So you retired to the Philippines. Wow, you're my new best friend, man. That is just, that's fantastic.
Thank you. Let me ask you about gluten here real quick.
Yeah.
I am not gluten intolerant. My wife is gluten intolerant, and her being a Filipina, you give her something like cornflakes. She's never had it before in her life. And my question is, should someone who is gluten intolerant avoid something like cornflakes, which has no wheat as an ingredient, but is manufactured in a facility that processes wheat and thereby has traces of that molecule in the food? No.
Well, perhaps the only way to know that is by eating it and seeing how you feel. Regretfully, there's no hard and fast objective test that can tell us, whether or not trace amounts of gluten are problematic for somebody or not, and this is a problem. Now, again, this begs the question, though, Dick, how do you know that you're not gluten intolerant?
I have never had an absorption problem in my life. I grew very big growing up. I'm like Theo Ratliff. I'm in the top 1% of the population. I gain weight very easily. I lose weight very easily. I'm the guy in the gym who builds the muscles very quickly, and that has led me to believe that I don't have a problem with gluten.
Okay, and you're probably right, because not everybody does. Theo Ratliff doesn't have a problem with gluten, but really there's only one way to know, and this would be a good experiment to do, because, it's kind of like you can have 75%, I think. It's somewhere in the 70s. It's 70-something% of your liver can be completely fried. I mean, completely compromised, 70%, and you would have no earthly idea that anything was wrong unless you did blood work. You can have blood pressure that's through the roof, and you would have no earthly idea that it was a problem until you checked your blood pressure. So gluten is a tricky thing. Now, you might be right, and I'm inclined to agree with you because you sound like, a smart, mindful person. But here, take the challenge, man. So what I would recommend that you do when you feel up to it, for 14 days in a row, completely avoid all gluten. Zero tolerance for gluten. Not even one crouton. Don't have any. Don't even look at it. Zero gluten. And then, on day 15, go crazy for gluten. Have pancakes for breakfast. Have, sandwich for lunch. Have pasta for dinner. Just go crazy for gluten on day 15. Wait 24 hours and see how you feel. And if you have a problem with gluten, you'll know that you have a problem with gluten because something will go south on day 15. And that would be a good thing to dial in, and then you'll know for sure, right? And this, is the problem with gluten, because there's no really sensitive nor specific objective testing that we can dial in to tell us whether this is a problem or not. And so I am inclined to say that corn or anything else made in a factory that has wheat that might have trace amounts of gluten in or around it would be okay for most people to eat, because most people, that's just not enough gluten in there to cause the problems that we see with the intestinal tract. So I would be inclined to say that that's an okay thing to do. Sound good?
Well, you made one Filipina very happy so that she can have her sugar-frosted flakes and not have to worry about it.
Well, just make sure she's taking her Beyond Tangy Tangerine somewhere into the bargain also. I just want one more quick question. I know that Steve Wallach came down to the Philippines about 6 or 7 months ago. Is there a longevity movement in the Philippines, or what's that like?
Well, when you have a situation where basically, 9 out of 10 of the people cannot afford, say, the Healthy Start Pack, you're in a country where the networking model is not a workable thing. So unless there's a wholesale to retail option, I really don't see anything taking off. There in the USA, you've said it yourself, you need to talk to 10 people to get one. You need to talk to 15, 20 people to get one person on board. Here you would have to talk to 100 people if you're marketing to the general population. So as I see it, the network marketing model is not a workable model here. There's no distribution network here. It's kind of tricky and complicated to get product. However, if it was easy, then anybody could do it. So I have that secret decoder ring. How's that?
All right, Dick. Well, look, don't overlook the obvious. And I have a friend in upstate New York, and he became a multi-million-dollar distributor with Longevity. He's in his 70s. And he built his entire business with the plant-derived minerals. That's all he recommended people take. Now, you know, and that's $20 a bottle, U.S. So when people take the plant-derived minerals, that gives them 2/3 of their body's nutrient needs, 2/3. And often that's a game changer in and of itself. And Longevity also makes freeze-dried minerals in a little bottle, right? One bottle lasts for 2 months. So I don't know if that's an option. I don't know if $20 is more in the ballpark of people down there, and I have no idea about the distribution stuff. But you might want to play around with the notion of trying to get people on the plant-derived minerals. It's very inexpensive, and it will make a difference in their lives. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, Dick. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, how about that? We're international. All the way into the Philippines. Last week on the webinar, we had people from Australia. We had people from South Korea, had people from Australia, had people from Trinidad, had people, of course, from Canada and all across the United States. Man, it was just a ton of fun, and we're doing it again tomorrow night. Check it out, fireyourmdnow.com. Sign up for a subscription to my online health recovery protocols, and check out tomorrow night's webinar. It airs at 8 o'clock Central. We go for 1 hour max, and we're never longer than 1 hour. The formal presentation takes about 45 minutes, and then we have 15 minutes of Q&A and chat. It's a lot of fun, folks. You're in a live online chat webinar session with people from all over the world that are like-minded. It's just a lot of fun, informative. I hope they're informative. People tell me that they're informative. At least they keep coming back for more. And tomorrow night's subject, of course, everybody's favorite, sex health. Remember that book? I think it was Dr. Joyce Brothers wrote the book, Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex But Couldn't Get an Answer To. Well, tomorrow night's webinar is going to be kind of about that, but from the holistic perspective. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the reproductive organs that we need to know about that your MD just does not know about, because your MD only knows about drugs and surgery. And with the MD, it's drugs and surgery all the time. Even when drugs and surgery fail, it's what they've got. I had a patient years ago when I was working in Seattle, Washington. The patient was diagnosed with leukemia. And he came to my office, wanted to know what I could do to help him. And I said, well, what have they started you with? And he said, well, nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? He said, yeah, my leukemia isn't bad enough for them to give me chemotherapy. So the doctor told me just to go away and wait until it got worse, and then they could start to treat me. My head exploded. My head exploded. You know, this is insanity, but this is what we get here in the free world. I don't care if it's the United States, Canada, France, South Korea, the Philippines. It's MD-directed medicine everywhere all the time. And, you know, everything else is alternative, outside of the box, you know, uncovered by medical insurance. Most people can't afford it. It's nonsense. And what have we gotten for all of this MD-directed nonsense? We've gotten pain and suffering on top of pain and suffering, on top of financial pain and suffering, on top of heartbreak. This is what MD-directed medical treatments deliver us, heartbreak and debt, and heartbreak and heartbreak and debt. Yeah, I'll take some more of that. You know, I'm good to go. Let me give you $500 a month of my hard-earned money to give me access to that. Could you do that, please? We wouldn't do this in any other industry. And because it's such an overarching monopoly, because This monopoly has been in place for over 100 years. We are wont to believe that medicine is a sophisticated, complicated process. Healing is a sophisticated, complicated process that should only take place in multi-million-dollar high-tech medical facilities. It's nonsense. Healing is easy. Our fundamental message, I'm going to drill it into your heads. Paint this message on your forehead backwards so that when you look in the mirror you can see it and read it aloud. Your body knows how to fix itself, and your body wants to fix itself. And most of the time, the only thing necessary for your body to fix itself is you have to feed your body the raw materials that it needs. The 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids for a grand total of 90. 90 for life, ladies and gentlemen, will change your life. And if you take the 90 essential nutrients every day for the rest of your life, you will have a long life, God willing. Unless you're T-boned at an intersection, God forbid, by a drunk driver, right? When you feed your body the stuff that it needs, you optimize your genetic potential of 120 years of age. And when, on top of that, you eliminate the wrong food, you stop putting the wrong fuel into your tank, it gets a little bit better. Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take it all the way past 105, past 110. But we're not going to be sitting in wheelchairs drooling. We're going to be healthy. We're going to teach you how to live younger, longer. So if the cost of MD-directed medical care is the most burdensome aspect of our economy, then why don't we get rid of the MDs? I mean, isn't this supposed to be a free market? Isn't this what happens in a free market? The underperformers in the company get fired. They get demoted. Usually they get fired, right? It's like Donald Trump, right? You're fired. This is why we need to fire the MD. Not because we've got an axe to grind, not because we're prejudiced against what they do, but because what they do doesn't work. It's that simple. It's not personal. It's professional. It doesn't work. Not only does it not work, but it's bankrupting us. Literally. I'm not exaggerating. The largest stress on our economy is medical care delivered by MDs. But because the MDs have cooked the books, because the MDs have legislated themselves into Top Gun position, they're not going anywhere. And we allow them to continue their madness. We have become mesmerized by their Machiavellian medical mediocrity. Mesmerized by their Machiavellian medical mediocrity. We bend over and take it. And then we take it, and then we take it. And even when we don't take it, we pay for it. Medical insurance premiums, isn't that what it is? When you buy medical insurance, you're guessing you're going to get so sick you won't be able to afford it. That's why you buy insurance. When the fact of the matter is that when you do get sick, you're not going to be able to afford it because the stuff that they have for you doesn't fix what's wrong with you. It just manages the condition. For goodness sake, they can't even fix heartburn, medical doctors. They can manage it, right, with, Prilosec and Nexium and antacids. They can manage it, but they can't fix it. It's not in their wheelhouse to fix it. It's not in their gestalt. It's not in their understanding. And to the profession that does not even know how to fix heartburn, we have given $600 billion to fix cancer. And I'm the quack. To the profession that does not even know how to fix heartburn, we rely on them to fix arthritis and high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes and obesity. And guess what? While they're in charge of our health care, arthritis and type 2 diabetes and obesity and Alzheimer's and autism and everything else gets worse and worse and worse and more and more and more. The single biggest threat to our economy, the single biggest burden to our economy is health care costs, the rising cost of health care. And yet nobody asks the question, well, let's bring in somebody else. The MDs, we've given them 100 years and they've totally screwed the pooch. It's done, or it's over, they're fired, let's bring in somebody else. Why doesn't anybody have that conversation? Because it's a medical monopoly. And we are, it's bad, ladies and gentlemen. And as bad as you think it is, it's a million times worse. And you sit behind my desk for 7 days, you'll be in tears, seeing the massive amount of unnecessary pain and suffering that people put up with stoically. People put up with it stoically. They'll shave their heads to give their, brothers or sisters or wives or husbands support who are going through chemotherapy. We'll do all kinds of things. We'll march in the noonday sun to raise money to give to the drug companies to come up with a cure for cancer. You got to be kidding me. We are noble human beings. We have a flame inside of us that burns bright. We want to help. But we've also been played. We have been played by a pharmaceutical, out of control, hegemonious pharmaceutical industry, for-profit pharmaceutical industry, and medical industry in the free world for the last 100 years. We've been played. It's time to say enough is enough. I'm not going to take this nonsense anymore. You know what? You're fired. You are fired. What am I going to do instead? I'm going to cancel my comprehensive insurance. I'm going to buy catastrophic medical insurance instead. And I'm going to join Longevity. I'm going to join Dr. Glidden's online health recovery team. I'm going to eliminate the 10 bad foods from my diet. I'm going to take the 90 essential nutrients every day for the rest of my life. I'm going to support my body's ability to fix itself. And I'm going to say, see you later, adios, bye-bye, to the MD, to the druggist, to the chemist, to the insurance salesman, to the hospital. Because my body knows how to fix itself, my body wants to fix itself, and I'm gonna give it a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thank you for your time, thank you for your trust, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow.